Welcome to the Power Hour with Stuart and Ryan. Ryan, just in case everyone in the house right now has no idea who you are, would you just introduce yourself? Who are you? What do you do?
Perfect. So, hi everyone. Stuart, thanks for having me for the Power Hour. I'm super excited to be here. Ryan McElroy, I'm an entrepreneur, like many of you on the line today. I started my career in travel in 2004. I started working for a company called Collect Vacations. Worked there for 6 years. I was always an entrepreneur. I was the guy that was standing at the bottom of the driveways while the other kids shoveled the snow, and I collected the money and distributed their paycheck. So I was, inherently an entrepreneur. So I started calling on travel agencies and asking them who's doing their digital marketing, etc. And then this one lady, Barb, I never forget, she's still my customer to this day. She said, "Ryan, is that person over there?" And she was pointing at an empty chair. And I thought to myself, like a true entrepreneur, there must be something here. So I went to every single one of my customers that day, asked them exactly the same question, and they all said the same thing, that it was just them. They were overwhelmed. They were the number one salesperson, number one accounting person, number one cleaner of the office. So they weren't doing their marketing. So I said, well, if I deliver a marketing product for you digitally, would you subscribe to it? And they said yes. And that's almost 10 years ago, and thousands of customers we call our partners to this day all over the world. So that's me, and I'm excited.
What you're doing, Ryan, and listen, agents, listen up here. We're going to officially start in just a second, but what you're doing is you saw a problem. People had a problem. They had a challenge. They didn't have enough time in a day. Didn't have the expertise. And you said, "What? Well, hang on. What if I did that for you? What if I made it better? What if I freed up your time so you could do what you love to do? I'll take care of that." And friends, travel professionals, that's exactly what you do for your clients. I mean, think about it. They can book everything online, but you say, whoa, hang on. I can do it better. I'll make sure you don't miss anything. You don't make any mistakes. Put it on my back. I'll take care of it for you. Pay me for the privilege, right? I mean, they're doing the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think sometimes we make things a little bit more complicated than they should. I mean, I always say that Amazon and Uber don't sell taxi rides and goods, they sell time. And I think you alluded to that too. I mean, when we're talking about groups, there's so many people that are trying to do it all on their own, and this is not their discipline. They don't want to collect the payments, and let alone the liability if something goes wrong and the money never gets to the place it's got to go. Let the travel advisor, the person that does this for a living, take those things over. So, I mean, you make a fantastic point, and just connecting buyers and sellers, and us as the travel advisors as the intermediary, and really the person that's doing the logistics makes the most sense.
Yeah. Indeed. Here. All right, here we go, everybody. Welcome to my boot campers. This program that you're here, friends, is Power Hour with Stuart, formerly the Ask Stuart Hour. We do every other week. It's normally for boot campers, but I opened it up to everybody, especially in the Group Sales Success Summit, because you're a popular guy, Ryan. I like what you do. I like your stuff. We are simpatico in the entrepreneurial spirit, and I believe anybody who's here today is here because they are also entrepreneurial agents. You know, there's a big difference between a travel agent and an entrepreneurial agent. So here's the way it works, folks. There are no slides. There is no webinar. We're not trying to sell you anything but ideas, really. So if you have an issue, a challenge, an opportunity, a beautiful story you want to share, or a failure, we want to hear it. If you want me to turn your mic on, unmute it, I need to know. You got to type it in because I cannot unmute you without your permission. Let me know and I'll do it so we can hear your beautiful voice. Then we'll put you back on mute. If you've got that question, issue, challenge, story to share, let me know. Type it in. Let your fingers do the typing. And look at this, Ryan. I've got like a page and a half of stuff we're going to dive into and tackle. Right. Let me just start off, friends. I always start off with just something that moved me since we were last together. So the word ZEAL, Z-E-A-L. So my new commitment is to use zeal instead of passion. the word passion may be overused, and I think the word zeal just kind of grabbed me, Ryan. So,
Yeah.
right, that's what you got to have for you. But when you wake up in the morning, you've got to wake up with zeal. Consumers, clients need to hear zeal. If they don't, you're like unremarkable. I'll call somebody else. It's a
Right.
good word.
Yeah.
The other thing, because in the last Group Sales Success Summit, where you, Ryan, were one of our keynotes, you kicked off one of our days in terms of niche. I like this. Listen up, everybody. Name it and claim it. Name it and claim it. So many of us are afraid to say, you know what? I don't want to be doing this, but I really want to be doing this. So friends, here's it. Till the next time we meet, I want you to come back and say, Stuart, Ryan, I did it, I named it, and I claimed it. And before I'm going to start reading some of your comments and questions, but first, Ryan, I want to ask you a quick question. When you decided what you want to do as an entrepreneur, and I know you do various things, and I'm going to see you next weekend in Washington, D.C. at Edge, but describe that moment for you when you named it and claimed it to inspire others of how you said, that's it. I'm cleaning the whiteboard of all this stuff, but I'm going here. How'd you do it?
Yeah, I think, sometimes we go a little bit too wide and we don't go deep enough. And when I saw the opportunity, just like we're going to discuss some of the opportunities for advisors, I said, okay, I am going to be the #1 digital marketing service in the travel industry. And I was super focused on just that and asking the right questions to the right agency owners to get their feedback so I could curtail a product that could alleviate all of their concerns and save them time, save them money, and grow their business. I think it's just, you have to, there was this thing where Cortez said, you got to burn the boats. So in 2010, I basically burned the boats and said, okay, I no longer am going to be an employee. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to dedicate myself to helping travel advisors grow their business using digital marketing tools. And it was just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And I think it's sometimes we just forget about the commitment and the fact that, you're going to be kicked down, you're going to be chopped at the knees, but as long as you're keeping to move forward and you know exactly crystal clear where you're going, you'll be fine. I think that was the time for me. And, you want to get these quick wins. I think people are saying, well, we always want something. Well, what we really want is momentum. We want to get going and get moving. So that's really what happened to us. Yeah.
That's it. Good story. Hey, everybody, one step at a time. It's not going to happen overnight. Okay. You got to build it one step at a time, but you got to manifest it too. You've got to believe in yourself. When you believe in yourself and you talk to others about it, they believe you. If you don't believe in yourself and you tell others, they're not going to believe you. All right, let me just catch up on what everybody has typed in, and we're going to start hitting some of these questions here. Joan says, go Raptors.
Yes, Joan. Thank you. We need all the help we can get.
Ann from St. Pete's here. Hello, Ann. Let's see if Peter's in the house. Hello, Stuart, Peter, and Yaima here from Cuba VIP Travel. Loving your material. Thank you very much. Rowena's in the house. Hello, Rowena. Glad to be here. The session is full. It is. Congratulations. Buffy says, here we go. Here we go. I've been working on networking meetings lately. I can envision groups in lots of places, but I struggle with pitching an idea versus developing a relationship and letting them come to me with the idea that I planted. So it sounds like, Buffy, you go into these networking meetings, you're meeting interesting people, but you're struggling with pitching, like you're so excited because you've got all these big ideas, and so this happens a lot. You have a great idea, and you skip the relationship part, and you just sell them an idea. And normally they say, okay, why don't you send me a note on it? Send me a letter on it. And you know what it becomes? It becomes a wah. Because the relationship has to come first. Otherwise, you're just another You're selling Girl Scout cookies. You're just another salesperson. Ryan, you want to make any comment to Buffy on how to work networking and have that patience?
Yeah, I think the one thing is I always used to ask in my former career, we did a lot of group stuff, and I always ask an individual that I just met, hey, what do you do on the weekends? It's like, oh, okay, so Stuart, what did you do on the weekends? So Stuart is a fantastic yogi, right? So what did you do on the weekend? Well, I'm swimming, I'm biking, I'm doing yoga. Yoga, really cool. Do you belong to a yoga studio? Yeah, I belong to a yoga studio. Okay, now you know exactly that Stuart belongs to the yoga studio. Birds the same feather flock together. You know what? Every person that's in yoga wants to go to Bali, for example. So now you can kind of start putting things together. I think I didn't say this, maybe Stuart, you said this, was, we don't want to develop groups from scratch. We want to find pre-formed groups already that are out there that we can actually start to communicate with. So my advice would be, ask them that question. So what do you like to do on the weekends? And then start to internalize those things, as opposed to going down the route of trying to sell them something that you've come up with. Why don't we just ask them what they're passionate about, and then let it go from there?
Yeah, we have to draw, friends, we have to draw it out of people. And remember, for those of you who've been to boot camp, you know this, and Ryan, you may have heard me say this before, I don't know, but the only way group travel works is if you're solving a problem. Every single group trip out there, everyone, I challenge you, everyone solves a problem. And unless you enable, you kind of feed that conversation, so that person says, oh yeah, we go to the same studio every time for 3 years. It's boring, it's dull. Or, oh, hang on, let me just bring this. I posted this in Facebook in Group Sales Success Summit. I challenged everybody. I said, today I dare you to ask everybody this one question. What big celebrations are on your horizon? Start a conversation. Let them say, oh, my daughter's getting married. Oh, it's going to be our 40th wedding anniversary. Oh, the club I'm a member of, it's our annual award celebration. Let them feed you something, right? You want to start a conversation. Let them reveal an opportunity and what the problem is. But we don't go any place fun to do it. We love running, but we run around the neighborhood. We love biking. It gets boring biking the same place, right? So that's good stuff for Buffy, I think, and for everybody. For sure. It's called, my friend Terry Murphy. She's a professional speaker and now a TED speaker. She uses the words conversational intelligence. Friends, we need to have conversational intelligence. Have patience, think, draw it out.
I like that.
Jean Benet says, good morning, Stuart and Ryan. Good morning. Karen says it's 84 in Dallas right now. It's probably 84 here too in Memphis. Let me see. Arlette is in the house. Stuart, she's going to be at Edge this week in DC. I look forward to seeing the Arletta. Here we go. Let me take this last one online, then we're going to go to the paper here. And I have Karen from Southlake. She's got a great suggestion and a great question. But here's what Diane says. Now, I'm reading this cold, Ryan. I have no idea what's coming to the table. I mean, all I know is, she can have like I don't know. She could have a problem with her lawn. There's a little bit of a fungus on the lawn. Do I have I don't know. Here we go.
I'm looking forward to this one, then.
I have a big problem with an older lady who is single, who has signed up for a small river cruise group I have. She claims that she was not told of a single supplement. However, my BDM remembers telling her. She has insulted me, accused me of bad business practices. My BDM will give her a refund. However, she is more content to hurl insults at me nonstop. After her last insulting email, the group leader said she would step in. However, the group leader, I believe, is the one that told her there should be no single supplement. She has not been supportive, the group leader. She has not done her part to sell the group. She has been insulting. Oh my gosh, good, my goodness. Insulting to the wide cruise host who is supposed to be on the ship as well. I have my clients on this sailing. My BDM says she intends to poison the group. I have stopped my efforts to sell this group. It's a disaster. So Diane didn't even ask a question, But before I make a comment, Ryan, any immediate thoughts that are generated after reading this disappointing situation?
I think as we become more and more successful, you know, you're always going to have these challenges. Anytime that we have internal conflict with maybe a client or partner, etc. And I can remember back to my days working for the tour operator, and there was a ship called the NCL Wind, and it was only in Hawaii, and the ship was not the best ship. But we had so many complaints about this ship. But and we had a particular client, same type of situation where they were just couldn't do anything right for this person. They, you know, whether they, you know, in this situation, it sounds like they're just, you know, lying to a certain degree, like no single supplement, you know, come on, like on a river cruise, like we know in the industry that doesn't happen very often unless there's huge inventory issues in Europe. So the first thing that I would do is say to yourself is say, there's something else going on in this person's life that she is looking for someone to, you know, put stress onto so that it's alleviating the stress that she has internally. That's the first thing. And you'll know, Stuart, from interacting with me, I'm the most self-aware person there is. I'm very self-aware of who I am, where I'm going, where I am today, and very upfront. And I think that's the first thing that I would do. The second thing that I would do is I would make sure that if I have a website or anything like that, that I have some sort of page on there explaining what the single supplement is. You know, I talk to my BDM and I'd say, okay, I'm just showing that Amma Water Weight single supplement, Viking, whatever it is. I would have those on my website moving forward so that it's always crystal clear and black and white binary so that this doesn't happen again. And maybe coming at it from a standpoint of being very humble when interacting with this person and going back to them and saying, I can understand your challenge. And I call it killing them with kindness. Although they have said mean things to you, they have berated you, they're trying to hurt your business. If you go back to them with just the most empathetic email that you've ever written in your entire life saying, I understand the challenge. We'd love to have you on the trip having an enjoyable time. You know that there's so many people in the world that would love to go on a river cruise and enjoy themselves. This is such a amazing experience, and go that route as opposed to letting this person stop you from selling your group, which is hurting your income, as well as bringing you down. You know, we want to keep you up so that you're hyped up and have that energy to perform for this group who's going to Europe on a river cruise of a lifetime. Like, this is amazing. Let's stay positive and then move forward from there. These are tough situations, but you'll get through it. And then the next time you'll know exactly how to deal with it. So I think it's a learning situation as well. We've all been there.
Well spoken, Ryan. Absolutely. So there's a quote, and I may not have it exact, from Tinker Hatfield. Tinker Hatfield is the creator of the Nike shoe, the Nike sneaker. Over all the years, he created the sneakers that the basketball players wear that sell for ridiculous amounts of money. And he brilliant, and he had a great line that says, if people don't either love or hate your work, you haven't done anything. So, friends, when you step into a leadership role, you're putting yourself up in the spotlight, and you're going to have people loving on you, and you're going to have some people throwing tomatoes. And to Ryan's point, it may not be you. They may have something going on in life, and you just happen to be the guy or the gal in the way of the tomatoes. So have some empathy, have some humbleness, and don't hide under a rock, because everyone else is looking at you. How will she or he react to the tomato throwing? Are they going to come out a leader? Are they going to come out kind and humble? And you know, you can't run away from this. You got other people that you need to showcase your leadership abilities. They need to have confidence in you. And I know it's easier said than done, but this is a wonderful, tremendously important learning opportunity to build what's called bridge of trust. You can't let this incident break that bridge of trust, because you're going to lose self-confidence. It's going to affect you. All right? Get strong. But to Ryan's point, I love it. It's all about the honey, not about the vinegar. So this is good stuff. I wish you good success, and keep in touch with this. And by the way, with the group leader, that's a different conversation here, friends. If you're doing groups and you're not getting a group agreement letter signed, sealed, and delivered, you're putting yourself out into serious risk, to serious liability, if you're not getting a group agreement, something we teach in boot camp. And I'm telling you now, friends, you got to get a signed agreement letter so the group leader knows what's expected of them and what's expected of you. It doesn't just hold them accountable, it holds you both accountable. Okay. Oh, Elaine here is she's tuning in from the Caribbean. Welcome, Elaine.
Nice, Elaine.
Buffy said, exactly, I see these groups everywhere. I guess I need to be patient as I develop the relationships. Yes, you do. It takes time. Unless you're selling a cup of ice water and somebody needs it right then and there, you're not. You're selling something that's aspirational, that costs a lot of money, that makes a big decision, and you have to build that bridge of trust before you start selling a thing. Okay, here we go. Karen says here, and I like what Karen said. Karen from South Lake Travel. Listen, everybody. Ryan is looking, how do I source new business? What do I do? Well, here's something Karen does. I signed up for a 3-week class on Claude Monet Impressionism, hoping that this instructor might be a great potential group leader. Remind your agents to be on the lookout for great classes to attend to find group leaders. So, friends, you have to immerse yourself into communities. And there's two kinds of communities, right? Especially, Ryan, your business specializes into virtual communities, online communities, and also physical. So, friends, if you're looking to source new business, make new friends, meet new people locally, network, go to a class, spend some money, and meet some people. You never know. Maybe that instructor or somebody you're sitting next to is going to be opportunistic for you to make friends with, and it could be business. All right, so here's her question, and this is a question for you, Ryan, or anybody else. Have any agents in your world affiliated themselves or gone to any NSA meetings? Now, NSA is National Speakers Association, to introduce themselves. It would seem to me very valuable to have a postcard ready to hand out, something to the effect that we can help them with speaking on a fabulous ship instead of a boring hotel room. I think that's a great idea, Karen. A quick observation: most speakers, not all, wait to be hired, and if it's on a ship, they show up. If it's in Dubai, they go. If it's in Washington, D.C., they go. Some smart speakers, like me and Ryan, we don't necessarily wait to be invited. We say, hey, I've got a month here, I'm not on the road, I'm going to do an event and have people come to me. So, Karen, I think it's a great idea. Just be careful giving out your card, because when you turn around, they're going to put it in the trash can, get their card, and again, make friends, make relationships, and see if they've got a problem. They want to make money in that, in that in-between time. Ryan, any comments for Karen and everybody else?
Yeah, I just think that sometimes we have to look at developing something from scratch where it's never been done before. And trust me, as an entrepreneur, there's tons of things that I do that have never been done before, but there are also some patterns that you can actually follow and put the same effort into, religious travel, or if it's business that you're trying to interact with someone like a speaker, maybe it's, I'm just trying to think of how I wouldn't want you to waste valuable time on trying to take a round peg and put it in a square hole, or whatever the analogy is there, as opposed to taking something that's existing, like 2020 Oberammergau, and going down the religious group angle that is tried and true, that if you get a spiritual leader that has some charisma and a large parish or congregation, pair them together, do a presentation, and you're going to drive revenue 9 times out of 10. So that's my only observation there is sometimes we got to draw back, and the sled only goes as fast as the lead horse, and in this case most of the people here are the lead horse of their or the lead dog of their organization, so we can only go so fast, and we have to really be calculated in terms of the things that we're doing. So look at where the market is, look at what's hot. Wellness is hot. That's where billions of dollars is being spent. Maybe it would be easier to go after that market and develop people in wellness. That would be my own feedback there.
Yeah, and that's a good point too. In as much as I'm excited when I hear new ideas of sourcing new business, making new friends, meeting new people, at the end of the day, friends, what was that quote I used before? Name it and claim it, the niche. If you get too far off course, and as Ryan said before, sometimes when we're too wide but not deep, people don't know why. Well, how are you an expert with speakers? Why should I trust you? Where if we have established ourselves as an expert in a particular arena or category, or we can have a sub niche too, then more people will say, man, Karen, I need you. I didn't know that you've been doing groups for professional speakers for 10 years. You're my gal. I need you. So before we branch out, make sure that's in your love circle and that you have a story to tell too, versus, oh, I've never done it before, but I have an idea. A little bit of caution there where you put your energies. But I appreciate that, Karen. I think it's a great way for maybe there's somebody else too that likes that idea too. Jennifer says, hello, I struggle with how to network. How do I learn how to get out and network? Should I take a class? Get a mentor? So I want to give that a quick answer, then Ryan, I'll come to you for a quick answer and then move on, because we talked a little bit about networking, but it's so important to network. So I like to say, friends, you gotta get up, get out, especially if you're working from home. Get up, get out, and you got to put yourself in opportunities' way. You're not going to meet anybody sitting on your behind in your office unless you're doing virtual communities, and that's totally cool. That's all good. But you still got to get up. You got to have conversations with people. You have conversational intelligence. And one other thing I'm just going to say, and we got a lot of questions here, is I'm a big believer in the 15-minute meeting. So if you see somebody in your community or online that you want to meet, ask for a 15-minute meeting. Hey, Ryan, I hear you started this business. You wrote this book. You're doing this. I'd love to learn your story and learn more about you. Would you give me 15 minutes? Can I buy you a cup of coffee? More often than not, I think you'll find people will say 15 minutes, sure, because you know why? If they don't like you, it's going to end in 15 minutes. You're not going to destroy their day. But if they like you, they'll say, no, sit. And people love to know when other people want to learn about them. So, man, if you walk in there with business cards or brochures and you're ready to sell, you're done. You're never going to get that invite back. But put yourself in opportunities' way. And instead of thinking who you need to meet, Jennifer, think about who needs to meet you. A little paradigm shift. Ryan, any thoughts on that?
Well, I love that. Who wants to meet you? I think the paradigm shift is key. For networking purposes, annual general meetings of organizations in your community where it's very much sit and mingle a bit and sit down and hear about what's going on in the nonprofit sector, things like that, is very passive in nature. So that if you're new to networking and don't know where to start, there's no money's involved. People are not there just to do networking. They're there for a good cause and to interact with like-minded individuals. I think that's one thing that I would probably say as far as networking is concerned. And again, going back and saying, hey, what do you do on the weekends? Like starting that type of conversation. And here's one thing that I do. And when people ask me for coffee and things of that nature, I'm number one, I very rarely say no to coffee, because I've had people come into my office with an idea that they're young, they're 25 years old, they work at a huge company, they go, I got this idea. And I'm like, this is a good idea. So I don't want to, lose out on those things. The other thing that I think is key is the word interview. And I think, Stuart, you'd allude this will resonate with you.
Right.
When someone asks you for an interview, you go, oh my goodness, I can't wait to do this interview. And it's amazing if you turn the tables and just say, I'd really love to interview you about how you started this local business. And I'm an entrepreneur too. If you say that, the person, I don't care if they're in the C-suite, they have 5 employees, 1 employee, sole entrepreneur, I'm telling you, this has worked on me. I've had people from all over.
Oh, we have a little.
Once you interact with them.
You're back. We lost you for just a second, but you're back now. And friends, you listen to what Ryan's saying here. When you show interest in other people, it's Dale Carnegie stuff, friends. You make more friends and influence more people when you influence more people when you make more friends. Make friends first, then you can influence people. You can't influence them if they don't know you, don't believe you, don't trust you. Just go make friends and flatter them. But you need to do your homework. It's like going for a job interview. When I used to be a manager in corporate and people would come for a job interview, if they had known nothing about my company, then there's no way I'm going to hire you. But if you've done your homework before you sit down with that person, say, oh, I read your bio. Oh, I see you've done this. Oh, I clipped this article. And I do this all the time, Ryan, just so you know. I mean, it's one thing I think you and I both, we practice what we preach. I'm not just sitting here telling you to do this. I'm telling you what I do. And I've met some amazing people in Memphis. And next thing you know, connect the dots. You say, who do I need to meet next? And I get a gig. I get a job. And I make friends too, so that's good stuff. And by the way, if you are nervous about it, get a mentor, hire a coach, because something that's great to do is to role play. See, it's hard to role play if you're at an event and you get all choked up, you get all nervous. You can't say, wait, let me start again. It's a little embarrassing. But with a coach or a mentor, you could say, wait, hold on, ask me again. I want to try it again. Right. Trinita's in the house. Hello, Trinita. Oh, Kay asked, what is Ryan's company name? Travel Agent Tribes.
Travel Agency.
Travel Agency Tribes. He is the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer, Kay. All right. And if you need his contact information, let me know. I'll send it to you. Karen said, networking. At most networking groups, there are opportunities to do a 10-minute or a 10-minute presentation. And that's her opportunity to let the audience know she sells groups and give some examples, celebrations, anniversaries, birthdays, give examples of what you do. On the corporate side, you can suggest you do incentives, rewards. So she gives some great examples here. And that's awesome if you go into an event where you get a few minutes on the mic. A lot of it, back in the day, I used to do networking events where you had literally a minute or two on the mic. That was it. And Ryan, it would drive me crazy. Somebody would get up there on the mic, and let's say they had 2 minutes. They would take 30 seconds out of 2 minutes to say, oh my gosh, I have so much to share. I don't have a lot of time. So, oh my gosh, just talk. You just wasted, 1/3 or 1/4 of what you want to say. Yeah. So plan that out, friends. And I know so many of us have a public speaking fear. Actually, at Edge, my Sunrise workshop, I'm so delighted they hired me. I'm so excited, Ryan. They hired me to do a morning workshop on overcoming fears of public speaking and how to maximize presentations, because more people are afraid of public speaking than not. Yeah. So, Karen, good recommendation. Okay, let me go to the next one. Christina, now this is interesting, from Jocelyn Journey. She writes, I'm not a tour operator, but a travel advisor. I have an idea to build tourism and travel to my area. So here, Christina wants to do inbound tours, which is interesting. I've never addressed this concept before. So she wants to bring in groups into her hometown or city. My question is, how do I get all these groups? Because apparently in her town, there's a lot of groups that are involved in this. How do I get the groups all on the same page in something other than an email? So my quick response there, friends, and Ryan, I'll turn over to you, is an email is a really lousy vehicle, a channel to express an idea or to try to influence somebody to convince them of something. because I don't know about you, but I get inundated with emails. And if I'm not interested in the first sentence or two, delete or not interested. So it's got to be in person. It's got to be together. You know, go rent out the back room of the Panera Bread. Get together with people. You know, you can't do it on an email. I don't know if you had any thoughts on how she can convince all these various parties to work together to bring people inbound and sell them on that her concept. Anything, Ryan?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think community. I mean, we're reverse engineer what we're really trying to accomplish here is we're trying to create sub communities within a community to help, you know, bring people to our community to showcase what we have to offer and drive business to the various entities and stakeholders. So I think to your point, getting the people together and saying, hey, I'm starting an organization that is dedicated to inbound tourism for Lakeland, Florida, I don't know, whatever the case is. And
Right.
then bring them in, 15, 20-minute type of presentation, and open the forum and ask them to say, what are some of the challenges you have, John, at the local you know, restaurant of bringing groups in? Mary, you are the person that has the vehicle limousine. What are some of your challenges? So that it becomes a forum of a community to solve a problem, which is
Yes.
of course how we started off the presentation. I
Yes.
agree with you 100%.
Yes. That's it. I love it. There you go. There's your answer. It's really that. It's not terribly complicated, but that you need to get them together. Friends, I say this a lot. Don't spill the beans in an email. I know you've got big ideas, great ideas. You put your big idea in an email. You're selling Girl Scout cookies. You're nobody. You know how many people try to sell me stuff every day? How about you? Don't put it in email. You got to get that 15-minute meeting by phone or whatever, and you're still not selling. You're building a relationship. Linda has a comment here. She goes, hey, after you ask the question, what big celebrations are on your horizon, how do you begin suggesting travel without jumping right on top of them and scaring them away? You want to take that one first, Ryan?
Yeah, you know, I wanted to speak on this a little bit when we were talking about getting up there for our 3 minutes. The most
Yeah.
impactful way of delivering something for the 3 minutes is speaking to someone's heart. And I think what I would suggest in these cases are talking about memories, family, and how much travel can play into something that is far greater than a material good. So talking about moments, not things. They'll know what you're talking about, but you don't have to come out and say, hey, we're going to talk about travel here. You can talk about something, how consumer behavior is changing, and because of social media, people are spending more money on moments as opposed to things. And talk a little bit about that. That's how you can kind of, you know, weave your way into a conversation about travel in general and how, because then you're not really selling, you're just educating the people about how consumers' buying preferences are changing. That one might be a good way of doing it each time that you get, and you'll get better at it. You can say, you
Sure.
know what, in our business, what we're finding is that people are spending more money on moments as opposed to things. Is that true in your circumstance? Oh yeah, definitely. I don't want to buy a new Corvette. I want to take my family on a Region 7 Seas cruise to Alaska. Really? I know someone that can take care of that for you. And you go,
There you go. That's it. And also another point there is a great way, if you have a couple of minutes, start off by saying something from your heart, saying, I love river cruising. In fact, I'm just back from my second one. We were on the Danube. So but before you focus on trying to sell them what you do, and, you know, tell a story. Tell a real story. And don't get up there and say, hi, I'm Stuart. I'm the CEO of Stuart's Travel, and we make dreams come true. Okay.
yeah.
Well, you're not painting a picture for me. Paint a picture. Where are you just back from? Or where are you excited to go to? You can say, start off by saying, oh my goodness, I'm 7 days away from going to Puerto Vallarta, going to an all-inclusive resort. I'm so excited. Here's what I'm going to experience. And by the way, if you want a piece of this, come and talk to me. I'll hook you up. And tell them your story. That's all. And remember, it's B over F. It's benefits over features. Right? A feature is a pool. A benefit is a heated pool overlooking the ocean, swim up bar, splashy toys, floats, you know, this kind of stuff. What can you do in that pool?
They
All
don't
right.
want to. Yeah, they don't want to drill. They want the hole. They want the outcome. So they don't want to go to Puerto Vallarta. They want a memory of taking their family to Puerto Vallarta. So sell
Yes.
them the hole, not the drill. Sell them the
Yeah.
memory, not the trip itself.
The memory. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're on this call right now, you know how to do it because you've traveled. You get it. It's your zeal, your passion point. So use those flowery words, adjectives, verbs. Never leave nouns naked. Okay, Debbie says, I went to my first seminar at sea with 27 other advisors. We were supposed to mix and mingle, but I noticed most hung out with the same agencies they belonged to. So marketing with other advisors didn't seem to work out. We were supposed to learn from each other, but it seems no one wanted to step out of their comfort zones. I was glad to help with ideas, and I have learned from the 8 years I've been doing booking travel. I was ready to learn, but some advisors said they were on vacation. I love my work and was booking 2 cabins for clients as we pulled out of port since I was working with them before I boarded my ship. When do seminars at sea become a vacation instead of marketing with other advisors? Great question, Debbie, and I'm just going to give you a perspective having been on the supplier side. See, my corporate career, I've been doing this on my own, a solopreneur for just about 14, but before that, I was on 3 sides of the fence. I worked on the supplier side, the consortia side, and on the agency side. So one of the things that would drive me crazy, bananas, nuts, is when I would host a fam trip when I worked for the cruise lines, whether it was Celebrity Princess or Costa, and these agents wouldn't show up to the meetings, you know. It would drive me crazy, and I would go back to headquarters and say, whoa, 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 don't give them fam credit. Don't give them this because they're not coming to the meetings. They're here using and abusing. So here's all I'm going to tell you, Debbie. You can't worry about the other guy or the other gal. That's not your job. That's not your role. Your role, your job is to connect with that one other person that is there for the same reasons you are. Because you guys are there for, you're simpatico for the same reasons. Sit down, have a conversation with that BDM who's escorting. Well, you know what? Grab the maitre d', grab the cruise director, say, do you have 15 minutes? I want to ask you, what is customer service like? How do you train your cabin stewards? You got to own it, and you got to make it deliver for you. You can't worry about those because you know what? They're going to go home, and they're going to come back having a great vacation, but they're not going to come back elevated as a leader, elevated in their profession, but you will. Ryan?
No, I mean, I think I've been in the same situation where I get to an event and some people are there on vacation when they should be looking at the property, et cetera, et cetera. And to your point, we can't worry about the other person's grass. You know, you got to be busy with tending to your own grass and making sure that it is cut. And you will find that one person that you will jive with that can add value to your business because you are there for an outcome. You're there to educate yourself in the product, make those interactions. You're there to show maybe people on social media that you in fact do travel, and this is an example of a place that you've been. Give me a call. So there's a call to action on your social media, et cetera, et cetera. And as the industry gets bigger, and I say this to a lot of mature advisors, people that have been in the business a long time, what I'm finding is that people that are coming from second careers, the real motivated ones are what we have to look out for and that are going to be taking business from the established because they are go-getters. They love this business as much as you do. They have passion, or let's talk more zeal. They got the zeal for this.
Zeal.
And they're going to start to bring the education level up, the standards up, so that the people that are doing I'm here on vacation, eventually they'll get weeded out. And it comes with economic downturns, et cetera. Tend to your own grass. You're doing amazing. Make those interviews, make those connections, develop that content. I mean, and then go from there for sure.
Thank you, Ryan. So one final point there is that I and probably you, Ryan, I have the wonderful opportunity to attend so many conferences. When I get hired to speak and to do training, and something else that drives me crazy, as you can tell, I have a lot of zeal for what I do, and I observe is that when the BDMs they come and they fly in, and they come and they work the trade show for an hour. They come have a couple of tabletop meetings, and they're gone. They're not having dinners with the agents. They're not having coffee with the agents. They're not sitting in to hear what I've got to say or other speakers have to say. It's not about me. It's not an ego thing, Ryan. But, man, what they should be doing, the smartest ones, I'm just saying, friends, maybe this is the wrong venue to preach this, but if I was a BDM, I'd be sitting in the room with the agents hearing what that speaker is teaching so I know what my constituents are learning. And before I go to events, I tell the person who hired me, the meeting planner, I said, is it okay if suppliers attend? Sometimes the answer is no. Usually it's yes. I said, well, would you do me a favor? Would you tell them I want them in the room because I want them to share anecdotes. I want them to say, hey, Stuart, pick on me. Yeah, on my cruise line, we actually do that. Or we just had this group that, oh my gosh, talk about a more engaging, interactive presentation when you have suppliers share anecdotes and can share. So that's just a little something that drives me crazy. So more power to you if you're a BDM that's doing what I'm doing, because you're going to you'll be aces. You're going to nail your sales goals. You'll be the leader. You're a step ahead. You're not lazy. Any thought, Ryan, on that? I just had
yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more that I think in order for us as human beings, our happiest when we're moving towards something, when we're in the game, not in the stands. And that goes for whether you're a BDM, a travel advisor, owner of a business, entrepreneur, whatever it is. If we're striving towards getting better, and you should never be the same person you are today that you are going to be tomorrow, you're always going to be striving towards becoming the best version of yourself. I think you need to be in these meetings, as you said, Stuart. You've flown all the way there. Why not get somebody that has a different perspective on things to kind of enlighten you as to what the possibilities of growth are for your core customer is the travel advisor. So that makes total sense to me as well.
Yeah, and friends, if you're going on these fam trips, I sure hope, even if you're bringing your phone. Post pictures, do Facebook Live, do something every single day. Because if we're at a networking meeting and you're telling me that, oh, you're an expert here, you do this, you do groups, whatever, guess the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check you out. I'm going to go to your website. I'm going to go to your social sites. And let me tell you something. If you've got boring cookie cutter stuff that's not showing beautiful pictures of you having a good time on the ship, on the beach, with your toes in the sand, drinking a cocktail, I'm going to say, I don't know, you're not doing what you want me to do. I want to see you doing that stuff, having a good old time. And I know you're nervous about the Facebook Live. Just do it. It's not about getting it. My wife and I, we do this all the time with each other. We challenge each other. Okay, by the way, Ryan, my wife is a board certified cardiovascular nurse practitioner. So she is so much smarter than me, but she thinks that, I've got a skill set. She does, but we challenge each other. It's not about stepping outside your comfort zone, friends. It's about stepping inside a new comfort zone, You're not jumping off a cliff. You're just going to try something new, and you're going to love it. You're going to manifest success. Hey, Sandra's here. I think she's still on with us. Sandra had asked this question 2 weeks ago, and it's such a great question, Ryan. I wanted to come to the master, and I wanted to ask you this question. You don't know what's coming. It's all right. You got it. You got it, man. Sandra said, what's the best way to market oneself with the least cost? So how do you market yourself? And especially in our business, friends, while you generate an answer, friends, I don't believe you need to be building your fancy brand name, dream, whatever it is, big getaways, because nobody's going to remember your brand, but they remember you. So Sandra's question is great. What are best ways to market yourself with the least cost? A couple of thoughts that come to mind.
Yeah, I mean, I think you need to stand for something. You know, that's the first thing. I think you may have to make a stance, and I hope that people perceive, and I know they perceive Stuart this way, as something that comes across very authentic in terms of what they are trying to achieve for the target audience in which they work with. And I hope that they see me in that same light, that I genuinely want the best, not only for travel advisors, but entrepreneurs, business owners. I want to see them succeed. So everything that I do is very calculated along the lines of, you know, motivating them, the mind, the body, and the business. And I believe very strongly that if you checked out me on Instagram, I am Ryan McElroy on Instagram, you will see this guy loves his family, loves to travel, loves to motivate people, loves to speak, and loves to contribute without expectation of anything in return. And then, of course, look at what Stuart has put together here for the hour. No expectation of return, authentically himself. And I think that the cheapest, most economical way of branding yourself is being yourself. So I have this thing, and I would challenge everybody. And if you don't mind, I'm just going to put this up here, and I'll read it to you. I'm just going to read this out. Okay. But it says, I feel most alive when I'm working towards a goal, when I push myself outside my comfort zone, when I'm in the game, not in the stands. I am not here to be, I'm here to live. I am Ryan McElroy. And it's basically the manifesto of me. And I think you really need to answer this question when you're developing your personal brand. You need to say, I feel most alive when. If you write it all down, I feel most alive when, ? And answer that question and live that life, boom. You'll have to do nothing else from there. That's my response.
I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Friends, take a moment to absorb that. Let it sink in. That was big stuff. Watch the replay. Watch it again. Hit rewind. What Ryan just read to us. All right? What's your have you found your true north? Have you found your true purpose? And if you can answer that question, if you can fill in the blank of what Ryan just asked, then you have found your true north, your true purpose. You have clarity of purpose, because you can't build a successful business plan unless you have your own personal plan. And you start here and then you go to your business. That's great stuff. Rowena says, I've been attracting extended family cruise groups by word of mouth of 3 to 9 cabins. Super. I do not advertise or use social media. I started my travel business less than 2 years ago. I would like to plan exotic group trips. I have a group trip to Africa planned for next year with about 6 people that I put together, again, by word of mouth. Do you have any suggestions on how to find groups of people who like to travel to exotic places? So let me give you a quick answer there. Normally you try to build a list. You try to build a list of followers who share the same zeal as you for going to these destinations. Now it sounds like you're going to try something a little new, maybe exotic places. Now, exotic to me and you can mean different things. So let me just say that. What is your definition of exotic, Rowena? It's important. Does exotic meaning, Fiji, or does exotic meaning Marival, going to a spa here? What is exotic? It has different definitions. But that said, so how do you find people? Let me give you a paradigm shift here. How do they find you? Ryan just said that you start talking about authenticity. You talk about who you are, what you do, where you love going. Post pictures, post information. And people will find you because you're talking exotic places versus spinning your wheels. But yeah, join communities of people who you think may be ideal to go to these places. But that's so hard. I mean, how do you, that's so, it's such a vast universe. So why don't you start first and you be the magnet? I don't know. Ryan, any thoughts?
I have this thing that I always suggest to agency owners and advisors. It's called the 7 Continent Club. And you start a club called the 7 Continent Club. In order to get to some of the continents, you got to be pretty exotic in your travels, right?
Right.
And you can make a stance yourself and say, before I, before this world covers me, I'm going to cover it, and I want to go to all 7 continents, and I'm going to start this club. Are you with me? Put up your hand, and just go out and say something like that. You could do a Survey Monkey or something like that, saying, "Hey, I'm thinking about starting a 7-continent club. Anyone out there is wanting to put their flag on all 7 continents, give me a call," and you kind of go from there. And I think you need to exude that exotic feel of your business, and really that's what you're talking about. You're taking any excuse to talk about exotic travel, and I think that would be the path I'd go down for sure.
Now, from a pure marketing perspective, friends, this is called pull marketing versus push marketing. Push marketing is when you push your ads, you push your messages, you push, and you hope you're going fishing to bring them in. Pull marketing is when you focus on your branding, your messaging, your pictures, your stories, your free stuff that you give away, and you pull them in. Pull marketing. I'm a big believer, as I know Ryan is, on pull marketing. I mean, my goodness, the Group Sales Success Summit, I give it away free for 10 days, and if you want to own it, you buy it, but I give it away free. Why? It's pull marketing. The list I've created is huge. And it's a filter, right? It's a funnel. I know not everybody's going to buy it, but as long as enough people buy it who need it, I'm happy, I make money, and they're happy. So it's got to be pull. Get your message out there. Hey, Joe says, hey, Joe, he says, how do you go about getting a mentor? I'd love to meet someone that just retired. Well, it's one thing if you hire a coach or a consultant, 2 different things. You're paying money for that. But a mentor is somebody who does it at a friendship. And I think you've got to take a look at who's in your circle of friends. Who do you know? It's tough to go to somebody you don't know and say, hey, will you be my mentor? It's somebody who you already have a relationship that maybe you're not realizing could be a mentor. You guys have a nice relationship. You admire their work. You're impressed by their work. You emulate how they work, how they live, and you want to learn from them. And it doesn't necessarily have to be as formal, Joe. It could be informal, A friendship could develop into a mentorship too. I don't know if you had a quick thought on that. We've got 2 minutes left. Any thoughts on mentorship, Ryan?
I just seek the outcome first of what you're trying to get out of the mentorship, because you'd be surprised that even just going online, getting podcasts and getting to the preeminent authorities in those subjects. Like, are you listening to Ed Milet? If you're an entrepreneur, love or hate him, Gary Vaynerchuk, Stuart, people that are in our industry that can talk contextually about travel. You'd be surprised on the information that you can find out there that can help you get to the outcome. So write the outcome down first, reverse engineer that, go seeking the knowledge, and then you'd be surprised, someone will come out saying, oh, why do you want to know about X? Oh, it's because, okay, well, I can help you with that component of your business, etc. That's what would be my suggestion.
I like it. I like that reverse engineer concept, friends. It's almost like a paradigm shift too. We're saying the same thing here. Flip the perspective, work backwards, work into it. All right, we've got a minute left, friends. Stick with me. You're not dismissed yet. I'm going to take one more question, which is if you can give this a quick answer, Ryan, because I know you do specialize so much in digital media, digital marketing. And friends, stick around here. By the way, our next Ask Stewart Hour, actually wrong, Power Hour, is June 20th. If you remember Bootcamp, you can join us. I love opening this up to everybody when I have special guests like Ryan. Ryan, I'm so grateful that you're here. Thank you. This has been a lot of fun. And if anybody's going to Edge, I'll see you there over the weekend. I'll be teaching at the Group Summit for Dream Vacations, June 17th. And I've got a huge announcement coming with the Travel Institute. Huge, big, really exciting. Stay tuned for that. So Julie asks, I'm new to social media. I'm getting at least 5,000 views a week now. Any tips on how I can connect with these viewers and move them from viewing my posts to a potential client? What would you say to that?
Direct message. If you're doing it on Instagram, direct message, and just make sure that you're going back and liking and commenting on their content so that you're creating community as opposed to it just being a one-way street. And you'd be surprised, people start reaching out to you. That's exactly how we've grown our business, as well as people reaching out to us. So make sure it's a two-way street, direct message if it's on Instagram, or get them to get get them to go somewhere where you can interact on a one-on-one basis, and you'd be surprised how many people you convert. Congratulations, Julie. That's awesome. 5,000.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And listen, friends, it is awesome, right? Have a little mini event, okay? Have a 5-minute presentation, information on river cruising. Put out stuff, showcase your experience. Do a little survey, but friends, a 1-question survey, short survey. And whoever engages may be interested in that destination. Whoever engages here may be interested here. You've got to start bringing them in to Ryan's Point. You got to have conversations with people. All right, friends, time is up. I'm so grateful that you spend this hour with us in the Power Hour. Ryan, thank you. I will see you next week. I'll see you this weekend.
In Washington. All right, Stuart. All the best. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate it.
Bye, everybody. ZEAL.
ZEAL. That's the one.